Hi, I'm Elise, and these are my friends Christy and Eileen. We really like dressing up for Obon. Christy got a lot of practice dressing in yukata and fancy kimono as part of the 2014 Northern California Cherry Blossom Court. Eileen's mother taught her how to dress when she was a little girl, and she's been helping people dress for Obon at Mountain View Buddhist Temple for the last 40-ish years. I used to do Nihon Buyo or Japanese dance as a kid and spent the most awkward years of my life in yukata and kimono. As part of the Mountain View Buddhist Temple's 2020 Obon at Home, we're sharing our top 5 tips to look your best at Obon. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do all these things. We also believe that Obon should be for everyone. You don't need to wear a fancy yukata or a special hapi to participate. However, if you'd like to dress up, these are some things to keep in mind. One of the best things you can do to feel more comfortable in yukata is learn to dress yourself. While it may seem daunting at first, dressing yourself is easier than it sounds, and it allows you to put your own personal spin on your look for Obon. Trust me, if we can do it, anyone can do it. There are tons of online resources on how to put on yukata. A simple Google search will show you pages of results for yukata dressing tutorials. So we're gonna skip over the basics and share some good common practices for dressing yourself and how to feel more comfortable in your yukata. Christy taught herself to dress in yukata by following YouTube tutorials and practicing at home. There are no shortage of resources when it comes to yukata or kimono dressing videos online. As you can tell by her quality of dressing, you can learn quite a bit with these videos. We're including a few resource links and channel names at the end of this video, so you can take a look at Christy's go-to list for yourself. Now on to the basic practices. Our first basic practice is to make sure the left side of your yukata is folded over the right side of your yukata. You can remember this by thinking about musubi, aka leftover rice. Having the opposite, right over left, is a common practice for dressing dead bodies for the grave. Avoid looking like a zombie and double check your leftover rice. Leftover right. Our second basic practice is to button up the front and leave some space in the back of your neckline. The aesthetic of yukata and kimono dressing accentuates the back of the neck rather than the front of the neck, as is more common in Western norms. Use the points of your collarbone to set a measurement for the width of the opening at the top of your yukata. This helps to provide enough breathing space without exposing too much skin. At the same time, leave between 3 fingers to a full fist of space between the back of your neck and the collar of your yukata. Our third basic practice is to practice tying your obi on your own, on your front. As you can see here, Christy was able to tie a beautiful obi on her own. Following the same rules of tying an obi for someone else, you can see that she has reserved several inches at the start of the obi tie. Then she wraps the obi tightly around her body twice. Then she brings the obi back around before securing it in a knot. She then proceeds to form the wings of the bow by measuring the width to match her shoulders. She forms the bow, then wraps the reserved obi around the middle to complete the bow. She's finished it off with some fluffing before turning the obi around towards her right to match the line of her yukata. Our fourth basic practice is to follow the seams. Yukata are created with a very simple design in mind. Most notably, the center seam down the back of the yukata should be aligned with the center of your back. This keeps the intended lines of the garment in mind. As you put your yukata on, use a mirror or a friend to help keep your seams in check. After you tie each himo and after you tie your obi, please make sure that the back seam is also centered. The final basic practice we'd like to talk about today is to actually practice. The surest way to feel more comfortable in your yukata is to wear your yukata more often. Wearing a yukata and obi is a very different experience than wearing Western clothing. All the layers and tight wrappings around your midsection can feel uncomfortable at first. Even something simple like walking up and down the stairs or going to the restroom can seem challenging. Wearing your yukata more often can really help you feel more comfortable.
I think if you wear more often, you will learn how to look better in it. And so when you're home, if you have old yukata, just wear it around the house so you get used to it. I think that's really important. And then like how dressing people in yukata too. My experience is really my personal experience. I just learned what my mother was doing, and then that's what I'm repeating.
Exactly, Eileen. There are so many ways to practice your yukata dressing outside of the Obon season. If you want to feel more comfortable in your yukata, give it a try and put in some practice time. Just to recap, here are some basic practices to keep in mind when you dress in yukata. 1. Remember to fold the left side of the yukata over the right side. 2. Keep your collar spacing in mind. 3. Learn to tie your own obi and have fun with it. Make it your own. 4. Follow the seams and make sure you're all lined up. And finally, 5. Practice dressing in and wearing your yukata. As promised, here are Christy's picks for best online resources to learn about yukata dressing. We're spending a lot of time talking about yukata, but also want to note that yukata aren't the only option when it comes to festive cultural clothing for Obon. Many folks wear hapikotes, jimbei, and other types of garments as well. The most important part about dressing for Obon is being comfortable and confident. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Obon at Home.